Hello everyone. Have you ever wondered how scientists prove that something invisible, like respiration, is happening inside plants? After all, we can't just peek into a seed and watch oxygen being used or carbon dioxide being released. This is where experiments come to our rescue. With simple but clever setups, we can demonstrate oxygen consumption, carbon dioxide release, and even the production of heat during respiration. And here's the beauty: each experiment uses two setups, one experimental flask and one control flask. The only difference is that the experimental one has living, respiring seeds, while the control has dead seeds. This way, we know that any observed change is due to respiration alone. Isn't that an elegant way to prove life processes? Let's start with the first experiment, proving that oxygen is used up during respiration. We set up two flasks, flask A with germinating seeds and flask B with boiled, dead seeds treated with antiseptic to prevent decay. Both have wet cotton wool to keep the seeds moist. Inside each flask, a small tube of soda lime absorbs any carbon dioxide released, so only oxygen is in question. After a few days, water rises in the delivery tube of flask A because oxygen has been consumed by the germinating seeds, creating a partial vacuum. And here's the dramatic test. When you place a burning splinter inside flask A, it extinguishes immediately, showing no oxygen is left. In flask B, the flame burns briefly because oxygen is still present. The conclusion is clear: germinating seeds use up oxygen during respiration. Now let's prove the other half of the story, that carbon dioxide is released during respiration. Again, we take two flasks. Flask A has soaked, germinating seeds, and flask B has boiled seeds as a control. After a few days, we remove the cork and let the air from each flask bubble through lime water. What happens? The lime water connected to flask A turns milky, while flask B shows no change. Why? Because the germinating seeds in flask A are respiring, releasing carbon dioxide. Dead seeds in flask B show no such activity. The conclusion is simple and powerful: respiring seeds produce carbon dioxide. This invisible gas becomes visible through lime water turning milky. But seeds are not the only ones. Even green plants release carbon dioxide during respiration. In this experiment, we place a potted geranium plant under a bell jar, sealing it airtight with wasteline. The incoming air is first passed through soda lime to remove any pre-existing carbon dioxide. As the air leaves the bell jar, it is passed through lime water. After some time, the lime water turns milky, proving that the plant under the bell jar has added carbon dioxide to the air. Here's the important catch: the experiment must be carried out in darkness or under black cloth. Why? To prevent photosynthesis, which would otherwise use up the carbon dioxide. The conclusion? Even green plants, which produce oxygen during the day, also release carbon dioxide through respiration all the time. Respiration isn't just about gases, it also liberates heat. Here, we take two thermos flasks. Flask A has germinating seeds, while flask B has boiled seeds. A thermometer is inserted into each, and the flasks are sealed with cotton wool. After a few hours, the thermometer in flask A shows a higher temperature, while flask B remains unchanged. Why? Because the germinating seeds are actively respiring, releasing not only energy in ATP but also some in the form of heat. This experiment proves that respiration is, in fact, an energy-liberating process. Finally, let's demonstrate respiration in the absence of oxygen, anaerobic respiration. We take soaked, peeled pea seeds and place them inside a test tube filled with mercury, which is then inverted into a mercury trough. The seeds are now cut off from any oxygen supply. After 2 to 3 days, a gas collects at the top of the test tube. When tested with potassium hydroxide, this gas is absorbed, showing that it is carbon dioxide. This proves that even without oxygen, seeds can still respire, though they release less energy and produce carbon dioxide. Isn't it fascinating that life has a backup system for survival even when oxygen isn't around? Let's wrap it all up. We proved that oxygen is consumed by germinating seeds. We showed that carbon dioxide is released by both seeds and green plants. We saw that respiration produces heat energy. And we demonstrated that anaerobic respiration can occur when oxygen is absent. Together, these experiments make the invisible process of respiration visible, measurable, and undeniable. So next time you see seeds sprouting or plants quietly growing, remember, beneath the surface, countless tiny cells are respiring, releasing energy, heat, and carbon dioxide. Respiration is the quiet fire of life, burning invisibly but powering every living plant around us. Biology truly allows us to see the unseen. Until next time, keep observing, keep experimenting, and keep celebrating the marvels of the living world.